Really, it's the height of the summer right now. And with that comes our beach days and our pool days. And so it's really important to talk about sun safety and skin safety when it comes to sunscreen. But which sunscreen should you be using and which one's best and safest for you and your family? So what we first need to really start with is we need to look at what the purpose of sunscreen really is. And what it's meant to do is it's meant to filter out the harmful UV rays from the sun called UVA and UVB. What was found is that back in the 1970s is that the harmful effects from the sun could be felt on the immune system. And so interestingly enough, when the studies found that the immune protection that's conferred by sunscreen, it's actually not in regards to their SPF or their sun protection factor, and it's not how they protect against UVB. Really, when it comes to sunscreen, it's all about how you can protect against UVA. And so what I want you to do is really take a hard look at your sunscreen that you're using right now and make sure that it's either broad spectrum, meaning that it's protecting against both, or that it specifically says that it's protective against our UVA. So, unfortunately, a lot of the time, many of the chemicals that we put into our sunscreens are actually detrimental to our health. So when it comes to the big six chemicals that are usually found in there's six main chemicals that we can find in our sunscreens. And I'm probably going to kind of like butcher these right now, but these are the big six. There's oxybenzone, there's octinoxate, octisalate, octocrinoline, homosalate, and avobenzone. Try say that 6 times fast. So those are the big six that usually are going to be found in your sunscreens that are going to be able to actually filter out any of those issues. One of the big main problems with these chemicals is that they can actually be absorbed in through your skin. And so what they found in a recent analysis in 2019 and 2020 is that they actually found that most of these chemicals were persistent into the blood and into the urine for at least 2 to 3 weeks for some people. And so the problem with that is that if it's getting into our body systemically, it can also cause issues systemically. And so what they've also found is that a lot of these chemicals tend to be hormone disruptors, meaning that they'll mess with your hormonal cycles and your hormonal pathways, and most specifically estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and some of your thyroid hormones. So to the best of our ability, we want to limit where these chemicals are getting into our body. And a way that we can do that is that we can look at switching our sunscreen. We can think about using more of a mineral-based sunscreen. And with that, you're looking for something that's got zinc oxide or titanium dioxide as its main ingredient. Both of those mineral-based brands or mineral-based types of sunscreens will actually filter out the UVA and UVB rays, and they don't have any hormonal disruption that can occur. They also tend to be less allergy reactive to the skin, and they're usually generally recognized as safe and effective versus some of our chemical UV filters. So what I really challenge you to do is to flip over your sunscreen and really see what's inside. Another awesome tool that I wanted to go through with you is something by the company called Environmental Working Group. And what this company has done is it's fantastic. It's lending more to consumer choice and letting you know what is in stuff. So it lets us look at some of our shampoos, our makeups, our moisturizer, and lets us know what chemicals are in there and what issues we might see with them. So just give me a second as I get into their website. Just give me a minute. I'll do a quick screen share. Awesome. So this is the Environmental Working Group's website. And what they've done is that they actually have a sunscreen guide right now. And the really cool part about it is that it actually filters them out based on our best beach and sports sunscreens. It looks at our kids' brands. It looks at moisturizers with SPF. So it gives us a lot of tools to use when it comes to choosing sunscreens. And the really interesting aspect of it is you can actually search your own sunscreen. So if we look copper tone, what it will do is that it will give you a rating for each sunscreen, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. So with this like copper tone water babies, it's a score of 2. And so that would lend you to be more likely to to choose that maybe for your family. We can even go down, let me go to page 5, and you can see that there's actually a sunscreen that's at a level of 10. So that is definitely one that if you've been using it or using it now, you might want to stop using it because it just tends to have more issues in regards to some of those big 6 chemicals that are found in it. So when you click on that sunscreen, it shows you its total score, and then it shows you the different values that it has in regards to the chemicals and the ingredients found within that sunscreen. So it's just like a really cool database and a way that you can make choices on things that are really important to you and your family. So I really love this one. I think it's really cool. So you can search anything. So I use a Badger. So I use a Badger brand, and same thing, you can look through it. This tends to be one of my favorites and the one I tend to recommend to the most people. Most of them are going to be like a 1 or a 2. They're really safe for kids, and I think that they're safe for adults too. So if you're looking for a Badger brand, that tends to be the one that I recommend the most because I find it fairly easy, accessible, and the price point is not too shabby. It's not the cheapest sunscreen on the market. It's also not the most expensive. So that's a really cool one as well. So it allows you to make the choice. It allows you to look at what you're putting on your skin, what you're putting on your kid's skin, and lets you see if there's anything that you want to switch and make a change with. Because really that's going to be the important point. So what I want you to think about is starting to look at your sunscreen and see what is inside of it, what you got in there. Look for some of those big 6 when it comes to the nasty chemicals that we can find in it, and really start looking to move towards a mineral-based sunscreen to the best of your ability. The other thing I kind of wanted to bring up is that there's other tips for sun safety, and it doesn't always have to rely on sunscreen. Sunscreen is just one of our tools. Other things that we can do is wear loose fitting clothing. We can wear a hat that has an SPF rating on it as well, and sunglasses to help filter out that UV light. Maybe try seeking out shade or using your umbrellas in your backyard to kind of get rid of some of that, rid of some of the sun, or at least allows you to get out of it a little bit more. And really look at maybe trying to plan your walks and activities around the sun time. So if you can go out early morning or later in the afternoon when the UV is lower, that would be a perfect time to get outdoors and be active. And in between there, we can use our sunscreen as well. So just some other sun safety tips that we can use. So I have a question here from Lynn, and she wants to know of any gluten-free ones. And I would say, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I tend to recommend the Badger one, which is, I use this little guy because it goes on nice and clear. And I'm pretty sure this one does not have gluten in it. Some ingredients may have been processed from corn, soy, wheat, or whey. I think this is more of an idea where it's not active in the ingredient list. And if it's something, you might just have to do some research around it. I don't know of any other ones off the top of my head. But I know that I'm pretty sure the Badger ones, this is one where it's like, it may have come in contact with it. So it would be very trace, if at all. It's not an actual current ingredient within that sunscreen. Awesome. So I'll just wait. I know there's a little bit of a lag time from Facebook. So if anybody has any other questions or any other sunburning questions, we can answer them now. But yeah, it can be really tricky to decide what types of sunscreen you should use. So that's when I highly recommend using the environmental working group link and giving that a whirl, because it can help you decipher what's actually in your sunscreens. So if you have any questions, there's none coming in right now. So if you have any more questions or you're watching this on replay, that's no problem. What I'll have you do is you can just fire in a comment below. I try and answer them all. So let me know if you've got any questions about sunscreen or about ingredients in them. Lynn, I will take a look and see if I can look up any other gluten-free sunscreens. And if I can find anything, I'll link it in the comments. So until next week, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Wear your sunscreen and also look for some shade. Go out early mornings and late afternoons and wear your sunglasses. Have a great day, everybody. Bye now.